there you have it. First game of the season, 4-0 against Chelsea. I would be absolutely lying to you if I said I saw that coming. I did not see that coming. I predicted a 2-1 win. I didn't think Chelsea would beat us, but I never thought we would win 4-0. And you know what? It's a weird 4-0 because there were large chunks of that game, where we didn't play too good. Our midfield got bypassed a lot of the time, even before the penalty. Chelsea were in complete control. And then Zuma makes the mistake and definite penalty, and Rashford sticks it in the top corner. And to be fair, before that penalty, Rashford was having one, in my opinion. He grew into the game as it went on, but even after the penalty, he wasn't great. But it was a team thing. We just wasn't at the races, and I was so worried because I sat on my seat, especially before we scored the first penalty, and I was like, we've spoken about this midfield being depleted. And in the first game against Chelsea, we know they've got superior midfielders to us. They just bypassed the whole midfield completely. It's like they wasn't there. But it's time for positives, and it's time to home in on the positives. I've got to start with our back line. Yes, Chelsea were unlucky not to score in that first half, hitting the woodwork twice, and De Gea making a save or two. But for me, the back four was fantastic. I think because we had no midfield, it made us susceptible to chances coming our way and being on receiving end of chances, should I say. But Wan-Bissaka, this guy, he's absolutely phenomenal. He can be the right back here for the next 10 years. He really can. He is that good. Maguire, very sure, very assertive, won everything there was to win in the air, good with his feet. All the things we bought him for, I think he showed that today. And him and Lindelof can really strike up a partnership. Luke Shaw, though, I have to say, it highlighted that he needs to up his game. He needs to up his levels. Where my seat is this year, I'm smack down, bang in the middle and halfway down, about 11 rows back. And Luke Shaw was on my side in the first half. And I was just like, just rearing him forward, saying, give me a bit more, give me a bit more. So that was a big thing for me. As the game went on, he got slightly better. But I have to say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we didn't see the ruthlessness with the transfer window. We know that. There hasn't been the outgoings we expected to see. But what was his team selection going to be? He said that it's not about the players that we don't want here, it's about who we do want here. And that's going to be reflected in the team selections in the first few games. And I thought, right, let me see what, if you're backing up that talk, Ollie, the team sheet. No Jones and Smalling, not even in the side, which is fantastic to see if we're looking to move forward. Tuanzebe was the next centre-half in line there. Ash Young on the bench, okay for defensive cover. No Matic in the starting lineup, and on top of that, even though the midfield wasn't going great, it wasn't like Ollie panicked and went, Matic, get straight on. I liked that. And there wasn't any Mata in the side as well, on the right-hand side. And, you know, I thought both of those things would have happened. You saw the road trip up there. I predicted he would go with Matic. I predicted he would play Mata or at least one of them, and we didn't see that. I have to say, that was very refreshing to see, and it proved that that's the right way to go forward. You know, on the counter-attack, I thought we were phenomenal. In the midfield, I have to say, just quickly, Pogba, he didn't have his best game. He did not have his best game. I thought he was quite poor for large chunks of the game, giving the ball away, getting caught in possession, fouling or asking for fouls that weren't really fouls. However, he got 2 assists, man, and for the second one in particular, he was sublime. The way he travelled with the ball, sort of 40, 50 yards, I think, roughly, and committed players and then slid Daniel James in. So it's a weird one for him because, look, he probably played a good 7 in the end because he got 2 assists, but he didn't have a very good game. I thought McTominay grew as the game went on. He was part of the same, trio of players who kept getting bypassed in midfield, just because I think Chelsea were just a better unit than us in midfield. But at the top end of the pitch, Martial, man, I have to say, he was fantastic as well. Look, he's got that 9 on his back. He's got to grab it with two arms and not have any excuses anymore. He's got his preferred position. He's got his contract. He's got his number. There's no more excuses for Martial. And Ollie spoke about he's our most prolific, striker, and if you give him a chance, more than likely he scores. And I thought the goal just topped off a good performance from him today because his link-up play was good. A couple of little things where he's trying to flick it round the side and gave the ball away, but he's trying to make things happen. But his work rate off the ball was fantastic. Lingard, I'm not a big fan of him on the right-hand side, but he had a very good game today, I thought. He had a very good game. He was involved in a lot. His energy levels were good. And in these big games, he does usually turn up, to be fair, and have a good influence on the game. And I thought he did that today, especially the more the game went on and we grew as a team. Because like I said, for large chunks, the whole team wasn't playing very well, apart from our back four, which I thought functioned very well. And Rashford got 2 goals today, and he played well in the end. But I don't think he had a great game, if I'm honest with you, especially before the penalty. I thought he was terrible. Dispatched the penalty great. Then after that, up until half-time, I thought he was poor again. The start of the second half, we were poor as a team until the second goal came. Pereira, I thought as well, he was out of his depths in the midfield. There was time they were just playing little triangles around him like he wasn't even there, to be honest. So for me, I thought that that midfield spot is actually up for grabs if you think about it, because between Pereira, Fred and Matic, who I don't really see playing much if I had my way, between Fred and Pereira, I think the jury's going to be out, and it's going to be who can get some form. Saying that, Pereira did get an assist, which was good, a fantastic ball he whipped across for Martial's goal. So again, it's a weird one because it was a 4-0 that was full of some very average performances in some parts of the game. But I mean, look, going forward on that counter-attack, we look like we've got something to hang on to there, and I hope that it continues. Mason Greenwood coming off. I would have liked to see him earlier. I would have liked to see him at 3-0, to be honest. I don't know why that didn't happen. But Daniel James getting a debut goal, fantastic for him, man. And, you know, we spoke about that throughout the pre-season that, okay, if he doesn't start a game, he's going to be on the bench, and you don't want Daniel James coming on 70th minute. You just don't. And that's what we saw today. About 75th minute came on. And not only that, he got his goal as well. And a well-taken finish. I thought he took a bit too long. I thought he changed his mind. But then he managed to bring it back round and stick it into the far corner. So great debut. Debuts all around. The 3 debutants, I have to say, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and Daniel James. They were fantastic. And I have to say on Maguire, he just looks like every penny well spent. Yes, it's one game, and you can say it's against a Tammy Abraham who's not an experienced Premier League striker, etc. But just, I'm looking at it from our point of view, not the opposition. Just the assurances that he looks like he's going to give us, and the partnership that looks like it's going to build between him and Lindelof. I think it's going to be a great buy, and the story behind that is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to play out really well. And Wan-Bissaka, everyone's been raving about him through pre-season, and it's so refreshing to come and see him put in that kind of performance here today, because it's one thing doing it in pre-season games when the games don't mean anything, but first game at home to Chelsea, yeah, you can make what you want at Chelsea in terms of they're a poor Chelsea side, they've got no proper striker, no Hazard, Lampard at the helm, but the way that they controlled the game proved that there are levels in this, and it could have been a difficult game. So look, a lot to ride on, but you could argue an even tougher test away for Wolves. Away to Wolves, we saw what happened when we went to Molineux twice in quick succession last year. So can this team, when the going gets tough away to Molineux, go and get that W? And for me, you play exactly the same team. You win 4-0, keep a clean sheet. You don't change anything, bar any injuries during the week in training. You keep that same team and breed the confidence and start getting some continuity across the back line, in midfield, and across the whole squad, really, for me. So very, very happy. I can't believe we won 4-0. Gassed. Not going to get too carried away because I saw some flaws in our game, but look, as long as we address them rightly, but we celebrate the positives, that's what we've just done. So onwards and upwards. My man of the match, the fact that I'm even struggling shows how well quite a lot of players played today. So Wan-Bissaka there saying, Maguire, I thought, to not even have had a game. Wan-Bissaka's had pre-season. I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka, actually. I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka. I could have given it to Maguire. I could have given it to Martial, to be fair, for his work rate as well. But I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka. First game at Old Trafford. And I thought he was consistent and solid throughout. We go on to Wolves at Molineux. Let's go and get that away W, people. Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos, and if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.